2 weeks after I paid off my sister's mortgage, she threw me out of the house during a family barbecue. So I took something from her she'll never get back and made sure everyone saw it happen. I'm Daniel, 38, male, and 2 weeks ago I got kicked out of the house I paid off by my own sister, in front of everyone. While flipping burgers at the family barbecue I helped plan. I wasn't even supposed to be there, honestly. The whole, come home, let's be together like old times thing had been my sister's idea. Jenna, 36, female. We weren't close growing up. She was the golden child, the princess who never got her hands dirty. I was the quiet one, always fixing things, building stuff with Dad, staying out of the spotlight. But ever since Dad passed away last year, she's been weirdly involved. Calling me, asking for advice, inviting me over. That's how it started. Jenna and her husband, Neil, 42, had fallen behind on mortgage payments. She called me crying one night in February saying they were going to lose the house. The same house we grew up in. Our childhood home. I'm not wealthy, but I've done okay for myself. I own a small but successful woodworking business out of Denver. Never married, no kids, low overhead. So when Jenna asked for help, I didn't even hesitate. We had our issues, but it was home. It felt like saving a piece of Dad. Of us. I paid off the mortgage. $142,000. Jenna hugged me like I just cured cancer. Neil shook my hand so hard I thought he was going to dislocate it. Jenna kept saying things like, "We're family. This house will always be yours too." She even said she wanted me to move in, help with the place, build a future together. I didn't realize until later that she meant help fix the house, not actually live there. For a while, everything was fine. Better than fine. We were talking more. Jenna was actually nice, inviting me to dinners, letting me decorate the basement how I wanted. She even gave me the downstairs guest room, said it was mine for as long as I wanted. I started spending most of my weekends there. It felt like belonging, like I had a real family again. But then things started to shift. Subtle at first. She got weird about space, made jokes about how I lived like a bachelor in a frat cave, started locking the pantry to keep things organized. Little digs. Neil started treating me like a tenant instead of the guy who rescued their house. "Can you park around the block? The driveway's just for us." "Hey, next time you use the grill, clean it better." Jenna's really picky about that. I ignored it, told myself I was imagining things. Then Jenna invited the whole family for a barbecue last Saturday. Said she wanted to celebrate everything we've been through. I offered to handle all the food. I brought steaks, ribs, handmade skewers, even carved little wooden nameplates for each guest. Spent 2 days prepping. I was sweating over the grill, smiling like an idiot, when Jenna came outside with a wine glass and this tight little smile. "Hey, Danny," she said loud enough for the whole patio to hear. "You need to grab your stuff and leave. We need the space." Everyone went quiet. I thought she was joking. I laughed. She didn't. "I'm serious," she said, sipping her wine. "You've been here long enough. This is our home, and it's time we had our space back." And just like that, while my cousin's kid was biting into a burger I made, I got kicked out of the house I'd saved. But I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just looked at her, nodded, and said, "Okay." Because I already knew exactly what I was going to take from her. Something she would never get back. And I was going to do it with an audience. I didn't speak to anyone when I left the barbecue. Not even Aunt Maggie, who looked like she wanted to melt into her lawn chair. I just packed my things into my truck. 3 plastic tubs, a suitcase, and my toolbox. That's all I had at Jenna's because despite what she kept implying, I never moved in. I stayed. I helped. I paid off the damn house. But make no mistake, I was never part of it. The car ride back to Denver was silent, except for the mental replay of that moment. Her voice, clipped and smug. That wine glass catching the sun just right, like she was cheersing my exile. The way Neil wouldn't even meet my eyes. The kicker? Not one person said anything. Not one person stood up for me. Not even Mom, who sat there picking at her potato salad like she didn't just watch her son get humiliated. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. But something inside me hardened. The next morning, I got up early and started pulling receipts. Literal receipts. See, when I paid off the mortgage, I did it through a structured transfer for gift tax purposes, as Jenna had requested. I'd signed a quitclaim to make her the legal homeowner again. But I also had one little clause in our notarized agreement, my only demand, that my name remain on the deed for 5 years as a non-occupying stakeholder, just in case something happened. Protection, right? I paid, I stay protected. Turns out, Jenna never even read the fine print. She was too busy crying and saying, "You're saving us." I had the notarized paperwork, the email threads, the wire transfer receipts, and I had a plan. But first, I needed to make sure everyone remembered who I was. I posted a single photo to Facebook. One from last summer, the day after I paid the house off. Jenna and I in front of the house, arms around each other, her holding the paid-in-full document like we'd won the lottery. Caption: 2 weeks ago, I saved my childhood home from foreclosure. Yesterday, the new owner told me I was no longer welcome. That post blew up. Old neighbors, cousins, even some of Jenna's friends started commenting. Wait, what? She kicked you out? You paid off their mortgage? By the end of the day, Jenna had turned off comments on her profile and posted something vague about setting healthy boundaries with people who can't move on. I screenshotted everything. Then I went to the county clerk's website and submitted the necessary paperwork to exercise my rights as a co-holder. Not to take the house, but to force a public reassessment of its ownership. I hired a lawyer, quietly. Didn't say a word to Jenna. But I did drive by the house that night, parked across the street, and watched her through the window. She was sipping wine again, laughing at something on TV. Neil was at the kitchen island pouring bourbon. It was a picture of comfort, of victory. She had no idea what I was about to do. Because if she wanted to erase me from that house, I was going to make damn sure she remembered I built it. And then, piece by piece, I was going to take something from her she would never get back. Not money, not the house, something deeper. And the first move was already in play. Don't forget to subscribe. By Wednesday, the whispers started. I didn't have to say a word. Just let the paperwork do the talking. See, when you file a reassessment with the county on a jointly held deed, it becomes public record. And Jenna? She lives in a neighborhood where people still read the damn bulletin board at the grocery store. Neil's co-workers, they noticed. Our cousin Eli, who's a real estate agent, definitely noticed. She called me that night. Blocked number. But I knew that voice. That sharp inhale before she speaks, like she's already offended just by your existence. Daniel, what the hell did you do? I was sanding down a piece of walnut for a client's dining table commission. Didn't even look up. I enforced my stake. You're making us look like idiots, she hissed. I let the silence hang. Then I said, real calm. I'm not making you look like anything. Oh, come on, she snapped. It was just a misunderstanding. You were staying here longer than we agreed. It was time. You called it our home. You told me I belonged. That was before you started acting entitled, she spat. You were treating it like it was yours. I laughed. Couldn't help it. A short, hollow thing. It was mine, I said. It still is. Ask the county. That's when she cracked. Full tilt. You're ruining our lives, she screamed. You have no idea what this is doing to our reputation. Neil's boss asked him if we're getting evicted. Are you happy now? And there it was. The real crime, embarrassment. Not betrayal, not cruelty, not tossing her brother out like trash. No, it was the fact that people were talking. I hung up without another word. The next day, she posted a carousel of Instagram stories, photos of her smiling, candles lit, saying things like, grateful for growth, and you can't dim my light. The kind of vague, passive-aggressive garbage that makes her followers think she's the victim of some abstract toxicity. I sent the screenshots to my lawyer. And then I got a message that nearly knocked the breath out of me. From Neil's sister, Claire. We've never been close. I always thought she was cold, reserved. But her DM was direct. Hey, just wanted you to know Jenna's been telling people you're mentally unstable and obsessed with her. Said you were living in the basement uninvited and she was scared for her safety. I've told her to stop. I don't believe her anymore. I sat there for a full 5 minutes, just staring at that message. Unstable, obsessed, scared. That's when it stopped being about pride. That's when it became war. She wasn't just trying to erase me, she was painting me as a threat. A sick joke. She thought if she controlled the narrative, no one would care what I'd done for her. But I had one last piece to play. A gift Dad gave me before he died. One Jenna forgot existed. A thing so simple and symbolic, it would shake the foundation of her perfect little illusion. And I was going to take it back. In front of everyone. I hadn't seen Dad's box in almost a year. It was a battered cedar chest, about 2 feet long, hand-carved with his initials, RJW. The last thing he built before the cancer took his hands. He'd kept his old military stuff in it. Photos, discharge papers, a folded flag. But there was one thing in there that mattered more than all of it combined. The deed. Not to the house. To the land the house sat on. See, what Jenna didn't know, because she never paid attention when Dad talked about boring legal crap, was that the house and the land were technically separate assets. The land had been gifted to Dad by our grandfather. He built the house on top, but he kept the land title in a trust. Said it was, so no bank could ever take the ground under our feet. When he passed, the trust went to me, because I was the one who helped him draft it. I'd been holding on to that knowledge quietly, respectfully. Never planned to use it. Until Jenna turned me into some unhinged squatter in her narrative. So I went home, unlocked the bottom drawer of my file cabinet, and pulled out the envelope Dad gave me at his hospice bed. I hadn't even opened it since the funeral. Inside was the land trust document, notarized, clean. Fully mine. And beneath that, a letter. Dad's handwriting, shaky but clear. Danny, if you're reading this, something's gone sideways. I gave you the land because I knew you'd protect what matters. Don't let this place become a stage for someone else's ego. If Jenna starts treating it like a trophy, take it back. She'll never understand what it meant to build something. But you do. Love, Dad. I sat there staring at those words for what felt like an hour. Then I made some calls. It took exactly 4 days to organize what came next. Jenna had no idea what was happening. That's the beautiful thing about owning land. You don't need her permission to be on it. And thanks to a little clause in the trust about temporary structures for family use, I had the legal right to set up whatever I wanted. So on Saturday morning, while she was sipping her overpriced oat milk latte and probably journaling about boundaries, a flatbed truck pulled into the backyard. On it, a 10x12 shed. My shed. Custom built from reclaimed wood, fitted with solar panels and a workbench. I'd been planning to install it on my Denver property, but this felt right. We planted it right on the edge of the garden facing the house. Claire was the one who sent me the video. She'd been invited to brunch. She saw Jenna come outside in a silk robe, sunglasses on, ready to water her basil. Then she froze. Because there I was, hammering in the last nail, with a massive wooden sign propped against the shed wall. RJW's land. Protected. Since 1983, Jenna screamed. Like full-volume movie scene scream. Claire, God bless her, kept filming. Jenna stomped down the steps, barefoot, shrieking about trespassing and lawyers and how I was ruining her peace. I didn't even turn around, just kept hammering. Neil came out next, confused and hungover looking. Claire asked him, on video, "Didn't you know the land was Daniel's?" His face went white. Jenna lunged for the sign, tried to pull it down. I calmly stepped in her way and said, loud and clear, "You touch that again, and I'll have you cited for destruction of private property. On my land." She lost it. Tears, screaming, grabbing at her hair. She accused me of trying to destroy her marriage, her life, her sanity. I didn't flinch. I just looked her dead in the eye and said, "I'm just getting started. Don't forget to subscribe." Update. Wow. I genuinely didn't expect this story to blow up the way it did. I figured a few people would read it, maybe call me petty or dramatic, but damn, y'all went feral in the comments and DMs. Some of you were hilarious. Build a moat and charge tolls to walk across her backyard had me crying. And some of you, honestly, gave me stuff to think about. But here's the wild part. Jenna saw the post. Oh yeah, someone screenshotted it and sent it to her. I know because she called me, again, blocked number, again, full banshee mode, and screamed, "I can't believe you're airing our private business to a bunch of strangers." I said, "Strangers? You mean the same people you lied to about me being unstable? Yeah, they seem pretty level-headed compared to you." Click, end call. But it didn't stop there. Her meltdown went nuclear after the shed incident. The next day, I woke up to find my mailbox full of letters, not from Jenna, from extended family. Aunts, cousins, people who hadn't called me since the funeral suddenly had opinions. Apparently, Jenna told them I was blackmailing her, that I ambushed her with legal trickery and was using Dad's legacy to humiliate her. She left out the part where I paid off her damn house. So what did I do? I made a little group message. Not a family group chat, EW, just a direct message thread to the people who reached out. I attached the deed, the land trust, the receipts, all of it. Then I wrote, "Since my motives are being questioned, here's every dollar, every document, and every lie I've been cleaning up for the past 6 months. I've never asked for thanks, but I will not be slandered in defense of someone's ego. If anyone still thinks I'm the villain here, feel free to lose my number." Crickets. Total silence from half of them. 2 people actually apologized. One cousin, Noah, said he always thought Jenna was a bit of a manipulator and offered to help if things escalated. Noah's a real estate lawyer. Good to know. But now, here's the juicy bit. This morning, I get a knock on my Denver workshop door. It's Neil, looking like someone made him eat a cactus. "I just want to talk," he said. I didn't punch him. Honestly, I was tempted. He said Jenna's been spiraling, that she's threatened to sell the house, that she's accusing him of conspiring with me, that she's been sleeping in the guest room and blaming him for not handling the situation. Then he says, "I think I married someone who doesn't know what love looks like unless it's transactional." For a split second, I saw the guy I thought he was. Then he asked me to take the shed down. I just stared at him and said, "No." He left with his tail between his legs. And now I'm getting messages from Jenna's friends. "Can we talk?" I didn't know the whole story. "Nah, y'all had front row seats when she threw me out. You clapped with your silence. Now, I've got the land, the receipts, and the shed. And I've got something else, too. The key. To Dad's workshop. The one Jenna had turned into a yoga studio with scented candles and Pinterest quotes. She forgot what used to be buried under the floorboards in there. I didn't. And next? Next, I'm going to remind her. Dad's workshop used to be sacred. It sat at the edge of the backyard, tucked under the big elm tree, about 200 square feet of pure function. Concrete floors, steel shelves. That old table saw that used to terrify me when I was a kid. It always smelled like cedar and gasoline. There was a rule. You don't enter the shop unless you're ready to learn something. After he died, Jenna turned it into an inspo nook. Painted the walls white, ripped out the shelving, hung fairy lights, and put one of those dumb LED signs that said, "Manifest it." I nearly puked. But here's what she never knew. Under the floorboards, behind the bench press she thought was junk, Dad had hidden a compartment. Not some dramatic treasure chest, just a sealed plastic tub he built into the concrete. "Emergency memory box," he called it. Said it wasn't for anyone but the one who stuck around. Guess who that turned out to be? I went back at night. The land is mine. I didn't need permission. I pried up the floorboard and pulled it out. Had to break the concrete seal. Inside, photos, journals, a video camera, one of those old digital ones from the mid-2000s. Tapes labeled Jenna, 2005, Daniel, 2009, house build, final walkthrough, last one, for later. I took it all home. Spent the whole night watching tape after tape. Dad talking about the house, building it, raising us, laughing, sweaty, happy. The man before the illness, and then the last one. He was thinner, hospice bed behind him. The camera sat on a table. He looked directly into the lens and said my name. "Danny, if you're seeing this, she did it, didn't she?" kicked you out, claimed the house was hers, probably threw in a few digs about your loner lifestyle, too. I froze. I always hoped she'd grow out of it. But you? You never asked for anything, not once. You were the one who rebuilt the porch with me, who stayed after the chemo, who came to every doctor appointment. You gave me time when she gave me excuses. He looked away, wiped his face. I know she'll hate you for keeping the land, but don't let her bury you in shame. You're the one who held this family together. If she ever makes you feel small, show this. Let them see what love looks like when it's not filtered through entitlement. That was it. I sat there sobbing like a damn child. So I made a choice. I uploaded the full video to YouTube. Unlisted. Sent the link to everyone Jenna had lied to. Family, friends, even Neil. Then I did one last thing. That Saturday, Jenna was throwing a little healing brunch. A post-drama, let's move on event with her yoga clique. I showed up. Not dressed like a threat, just jeans and a flannel. I walked straight through the backyard, through my land, opened the shed, and rolled out an old flat screen on a cart I'd pre-wired to a battery pack. Set it facing the house. Pressed play. The brunch came to a screeching halt. Mimosas half-poured, avocado toast untouched. They watched Dad speak, watched him say my name, watched him choose me. Jenna screamed, tried to run out and unplug it, but I stood between her and the screen. You want to erase me? I said. Go ahead, but not before they see who actually gave a damn about this family. Neil stood on the porch, silent, shaking. One of Jenna's friends whispered, "Oh my God." Jenna slapped the screen off the cart and ran inside, slammed the door like a child. But the damage was done. Because now, she couldn't rewrite the story. It took her exactly 24 hours to go full scorched earth. The next morning, I woke up to 37 texts. Most were from Jenna. The rest were from mutual friends, family, and, somehow, her high school best friend who hadn't spoken to me since 2009. Let me paint the scene for you. Jenna had gone on a rampage, started calling people, posting cryptic Instagram stories, black screens, Bible quotes. Betrayal cuts deeper than knives. Then she unleashed the blog post. Yup, she has a blog. One of those overly curated, healing through hardship lifestyle pages filled with photos of lemon water and sunsets over yoga mats. She wrote this long, unhinged post titled, "When Family Becomes the Enemy." And hoo boy, she did not hold back. She accused me of weaponizing grief, said I emotionally manipulated her during Dad's final days, claimed I was obsessed with controlling the narrative, and that my sudden financial involvement was a calculated move to install myself as a martyr. My favorite line? He doesn't love people. He loves being right. I read it with a cup of coffee in one hand and the land deed in the other. Then I forwarded the post to my lawyer. Here's the thing Jenna didn't realize. By framing me as mentally unstable and implying financial coercion, she opened the door to libel. We're not talking petty here. We're talking actual, suable defamation with damages attached, especially when it gets passed around to potential clients and neighbors, which it absolutely did. But I didn't sue. Not yet. Because what happened next was way, way better. Neil left. Claire texted me first. He's gone, packed a bag, took the car. Turns out the video hit him harder than he let on. He told Claire he couldn't stop thinking about what Dad said, about who really showed up. That Jenna's obsession with optics, with performance, had become toxic. That she wasn't grieving, she was branding. And then he found the letter. Dad had written one to Jenna too. I never opened it. Gave it to her in a sealed envelope 2 years ago after the funeral. She claimed she lost it. Neil found it tucked inside a shoebox of old receipts, unopened. Dad's handwriting right on the front, still sealed. He left it on the kitchen counter and walked out. Now Jenna was alone. No husband, no family on her side. Just a blog post full of lies and a house built on my money, on my land, on our father's bones. That night, I went back. I didn't speak. I didn't knock. I just stood at the edge of the backyard, right where my land began, and posted a new sign in front of the shed. You kicked me out, but I never left. I was this place. You were just passing through. I turned and walked away. Didn't hear her come out. Didn't see her collapse on the porch. But Claire did. And she told me. That's the night Jenna finally broke. Update 2. All right, this is going to be hard to write. First off, thank you. Seriously. The messages, the comments, the people who said they saw their own stories in mine, it meant more than I can put into words. But I need to be honest with you all, because things took a turn I didn't expect. She went after my business. Not just a petty 1-star Yelp review. Jenna filed a formal complaint with the Colorado Contractors Board, claimed I'd done unlicensed work on a property I had no legal claim to. She literally tried to get my license revoked over a shed I built on land I own. That's how far she was willing to go. And if you think she stopped there? Oh no, she DM'd clients, people I'd built furniture for, done custom jobs for, told them I was dangerous, aggressive, and legally under investigation. Said I used abusive language and threatened her safety. My calendar cleared overnight. 3 clients canceled within 2 days. One woman, the sweetest retired teacher who I'd built a cedar bench for last summer, called me crying. Said she didn't believe a word Jenna said, but she was scared of the drama and didn't want to be involved. That almost broke me. I've spent 15 years building that business. From Craigslist jobs to a workshop with custom orders 6 months out. I never asked for fame, never took shortcuts. I just did the work. With my hands. With my damn name. And now my sister was trying to ruin it because I dared to show people who she really was. So I did the one thing I never thought I'd do. I filed a restraining order. Yeah. Against my own sister. My lawyer, shout out to Hannah, absolute shark, walked me through it. We had the emails, the texts, the false complaints, the public defamation, the property dispute filings, the recordings, the video. Hannah said it was one of the clearest cut cases of targeted harassment she'd seen in years. But you know what was the final nail? Jenna tried to fake a break-in. No joke. She trashed the yoga studio, Dad's workshop, smashed a window, overturned a table, called the cops, and told them I had done it in a rage, that I'd been stalking her, harassing her, and vandalizing her home. Except she forgot one little detail. The security cam I'd installed on the shed. It caught her. Full view. 2:14 a.m. in a hoodie and slippers, sobbing and cursing and throwing her own diffuser through the window. I gave the footage to the cops. They dropped the report. No charges filed. But it's all in the restraining order now. Jenna is banned from contacting me, from stepping onto my land, from speaking to my clients, from even mentioning me in any public forum. I didn't burn her house down, but I did something worse. I made her irrelevant. And now? She's the one locked inside a house she no longer owns with no one left to perform for. No husband, no allies, no legacy, just silence. I didn't celebrate. I thought I would. Thought I'd pop a beer, lean back in my shop, maybe even toast Dad's old photo like, "We did it, old man." But all I felt was this strange, aching quiet. It wasn't peace. Not yet. The restraining order went through clean. My business rep began to recover once the footage got around. Claire helped quietly spread it to the right circles. A couple clients even reached back out with apologies and said they'd love to rebook if I had space. But there was one thing left. The house. The one I paid off. The one she turned into a shrine for curated suffering and phony healing. And maybe that's what gnawed at me the most. That she'd taken our childhood, our dad's sweat and sawdust and busted knuckles, and turned it into a Pinterest lie. So I did one last thing. I filed a partition action. Legal speak for, we own this property together, and I'm done pretending we don't. It meant one of two things would happen. Jenna would have to buy out my legal stake in the land, at market value, or the entire property would go up for forced sale, and we'd split the proceeds. She got the notice 2 days before what would have been Dad's birthday. And I'll never forget the text I got. It wasn't rage this time. It was panic. "You can't do this, please. I've lost everything already. There it was. Finally. The mask off, the narcissism stripped away. Not framed through victimhood, not wrapped in yoga quotes and passive aggression. Just her, desperate. But I didn't respond. Instead, I walked the property line one last time, brought a bottle of Dad's old rye, poured one for him. Then I took the last remaining photo from the house, a picture of us on the roof, the summer we finished shingling it. Jenna's barely in frame. Dad's got his arm around me. We're both sunburned and grinning. I burned it. Right there, in a metal bucket by the shed. Because I realized something. My revenge wasn't about ruining her. It was about reclaiming me. And whatever came next, she couldn't touch anymore. I didn't attend the auction, didn't need to. I'd already won. Jenna couldn't afford the buyout. Her credit was shot, Neil was long gone, and none of the family she used to charm would co-sign. So the court forced a sale. Quiet listing, private offers only, just like my lawyer advised. We priced it under market to move fast. It sold in 4 days. To me. Yeah. That's the ending. I bought the house, used the same business account that she tried to sabotage. It was poetic in a way, funded by the very clients she tried to poison against me. I paid cash. No fanfare. Just me, the realtor, and a pen. When the papers were signed, I stood in the empty living room, the echo of my boots on hardwood where her yoga mat used to be. The place smelled stale, hollow. All her energy was gone. What she left behind was dust and silence. And one thing more. A shoebox in the back of the coat closet, labeled Dad. Inside, his old pocket knife. A receipt from the lumber yard. A photo of him holding baby Jenna in one arm, me in the other. And a note, torn at the edges, in her handwriting. I wanted to be more like him, but I didn't know how. That's when I cried. Not for her. Not anymore. I cried because even after everything, after the lies, the slander, the cruelty, there was still a little girl in there somewhere who missed her father and didn't know how to hold that grief without twisting it into control. I don't know if she'll ever be okay. I don't know if I will either, fully. But now, when I wake up in the morning and step out onto the porch with coffee in hand, I look out at the backyard, my backyard, and I see the shed, the garden, the oak tree we planted the year Dad got sober. And I feel still, not triumphant, not vengeful, just real. This house isn't a monument to pain anymore. It's mine, honest and flawed and patched together with grief and wood glue. And her? She'll spend the rest of her life knowing I didn't just take the house back. I took the story back. And that, she'll never get over.